Hi there, welcome back to the second episode of Intentionl Living. This is the podcast where we get to discuss purpose and just living intentionally and what that means to us and how that journey is interesting. And today I am joined by a very special guest. His name is Benson Kasuti. Thank you so much, Benson, for coming.
Asante pia.
Please tell us other than who you are and where you come from.
Thank you for that question. My name is Benson Kasuti. A man of very many hats. So currently, I'm a client experience officer at a coaching institute here in Nairobi, Kenya. It's called CGI Africa Coaching Group.
Okay.
So apart from work and study life, you'll find myself either volunteering at a movement called YMCA.
I think I've heard of YMCA.
Yes, so it's called Young Men Christian Association. And under that, we have an organization called Wise Youth. So the Wise Men International, that's where I'm serving as an international service director for a program called Gold. Essentially, it's a leadership development program that entails to just uplift youths to man up and showcase their leadership skills.
Okay.
Yes.
I think before we go further, I would want us to participate in trivia questions.
Okay.
Just to lighten the mood. I think the first question will be, between tea and coffee, which one would you prefer?
I prefer coffee.
Coffee, okay.
Yes.
What's one quote that you live by?
One quote
that you live by.
I live by.
Yeah.
All men are inherently the same.
That's good. If mindset was a song, what will the title be?
Leave a light on.
Okay, those are very good answers. What's one lesson that life keeps teaching you?
Progress is better than perfection.
Okay, please repeat that.
Progress is better than perfection.
Okay. The last one is, what's one thing that people waste too much time on?
One thing that people waste too much time on.
Yeah.
I'd go back to the quote, and it's the aspect of perfection, being a perfectionist. So it makes them not to move forward. It makes them not to have things done because they are waiting to see if it's perfect, but the perfection literally stealing their time. Yeah.
Okay. I think I would also agree. Thank you so much. Those are interesting answers. I think we'll just move on right away. Today we'll be talking about mindsets, and like you've mentioned, you are a life coach. So just to start, I'll want to know what that means to you. What mindset is and what it means to you. Yeah, that's the question.
Oh, thank you. So for me, mindset is like looking at yourself in a mirror. Now, the only difference is that is how you portray that mirror. Are you comfortable in your skin, and are you going to be okay with the reflection that is being shown on the mirror, or will you be running away from that mirror? Because for me, mindset essentially is the lens that shows us how we live our life, the reflection, how we take feedback, and just how we move forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there like a good mindset or something?
I think I'll use the two examples of mindset that are generally known by people. We have the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And now you realize that when you're talking about the fixed mindset, literally these are the stumbling blocks that are there, the blockers that are preventing you from being you, preventing you from evoking your full awareness and also achieving your high potential. On the other hand, the opposite is true. Now, when you're having the growth mindset, it means you're being lenient yourself, you're letting yourself make mistakes as you grow. You're making yourself amend, and at the tail end is you're giving yourself that journey whereby you realize that there is an opportunity to be more than who you are right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're all in this journey of intentional living, as the podcast name suggests. Is there a point in this journey that you realize that you really need to fix your mindset? Or did you always have this growth, like you've said, growth mentality, mindset mentality?
Not really. I'll use myself as an example. I grew up in a police camp. I've used this example many times, but every time it makes sense with the topic. Now, there is a lot of structure there. There's a lot of yes, sir. And you need to wake up at this moment, go for exercise, come back. Even when you wake up, your bed needs to be made in a peculiar manner. And it was interesting because at that moment, without you knowing, there's something inborn that is ingrained in you, whereby you think things must follow a certain structure.
Yeah.
Without you knowing, it quite gives some blockage to you because you're not open to other perspective, you're not open to other perception of what life has to offer.
Yeah.
And that was me. I knew, for me actually, I was born up knowing life is linear. You're born, you go to school, you get baptized.
You get baptized.
you get married, you get kids, and the cycle continues. You die. So I knew by the time I finish primary, I go to high school. The next step is an institute, maybe a university. Then after that, immediately I get work. From work, I get a wife, and life starts on. But now, at that moment, it didn't quite reach a point whereby I was asking myself, what about this life? What about this job? What about what I want? Is it really aligned with my purpose? Or as long as it fits in the linear, and that's how it's supposed to be? Because for me, that was fixed, As long as I have this job and it's giving me money, that's okay. So it doesn't matter if it's going to harm my mental state. It doesn't matter if it's going to also deprive my me time with my family, But now on the Lee side, that also molded how I am today. I was just looking at my journey, the course I did at school and how...
Which course was that?
Yeah, I'm a professional teacher from Kenyatta University. And how I transitioned to coaching, what I call guiding profession, was the aspect of looking for something that really aligns with my purpose. It doesn't stop me from being a teacher. It doesn't stop me from looking for other things. But now, how am I getting fulfillment? And how am I finding it ease to ensure that whatever I do, it not only empowers me, but also the people out there.
Okay.
So that is actually how I found myself in the coaching field. And in that, I realized that there are literally a lot of angles one can choose. And it's an aspect of you just achieving your fullest potential because you already have that potential in us.
You've mentioned that you grew up in a structured society, sort of. Did that come into place as in your decision making?
At my earlier life stage, yes, because I tend to believe it nurtured me, the aspect of me being disciplined, the aspect of me being structured, and also just following order. Yeah, so it has its ups and downs.
Okay.
For instance, the discipline there, it makes you really be a good fit in the society. And now when you're saying order and structure, there is the Lee side of it. Because, in an authoritative environment like that, anyone who is in authority, regardless of who the person is, whatever they tell you, you'll just have to follow.
Yeah.
So it really portrayed itself with how I was showing up. I did find it hard to say yes, no, when someone is in authority. So to me also, it didn't give me that opportunity to really articulate what I feel.
How will you say that having a growth mindset has influenced you as a life coach?
That's a very beautiful question. So the first one is how it has influenced me as a life coach, and also how it has made me as a life coach influence people. So I'll start with the first one. I'd give an example of an iceberg model. You know how only 20% is seen outside? So that's what people see. But essentially, 80% it's not seen. Yes. So in the 8%, we have the mindset, we have the belief, we have the culture. These things shape how we show up. And I'll use an example of, when you don't have that growth mindset, when you say fixed mindset, there are things that you articulate to yourself. I am not enough. You're comparing yourself to people.
I'm not good enough.
Yes, and you're not giving yourself a chance. You're like, somebody else can do it better than me, according to who, Yeah. And I'll give an instance of how I found myself in coaching. So I work in a coaching institute, and one of the requirements for you to enroll into the course is you need to have completed a bachelor's degree, and I've worked for at least 7 years. Coaching is it's a professional course, and the 7 years minimum is just for experience. I tell you for free, I haven't worked for more than 3 years, but I took it as a challenge to myself. I said, do I really need to wait for the 7 years? I have the capacity. So what's holding me back? And just by being able to articulate that and ask myself that question, it got me a chance to do that course. I'm a month away from picking my certificate, and you can see if I was in that scenario whereby I was just waiting for the 7 years, I couldn't have done this, and it's something that I'm passionate about. I find that it's aligned with my purpose, and I know that it's really in line with what I'd want to do and give back to the community.
Okay.
And that brings me to the second part of it. So how is it helping me when I'm dealing with people as a life coach? So when I say my work is partnering with people in a thought-provoking and creative manner to ensure that they maximize their full potential, that is essentially the definition of coaching.
Yeah.
When you say fullest potential, it means the potential is already there. So this evoking awareness will just help the people get to know what their potential is and get rid of those blockers that are blocking them. The things like, I know I can't, according to who. I know somebody else will do it better, but you're also competent. What's holding you back? It makes people hold themselves from being themselves, getting to places whereby they know they are capable of getting, but they feel like, at this moment, I'm not ready. What makes you ready, So that's essentially how I help people in this line as a life coach, so that they can be able to maximize their full potential, because the potential is already there.
Okay.
Yes.
And how would I know that now I need to change my mindset?
Interestingly, it's a lineage. So what we do as life coach and some of the other coaches, you realize it's a vast field. Our work is to evoke awareness. So this evoking awareness can come in form of some thought-provoking questions, sometimes very peculiar creative ways. And when we do that to you, ours is just to set that environment so that you can realize, oh, wow, so
nothing can stop me.
Nothing can stop me.
I am good enough.
You're good enough and you're capable of doing this. Because majority of the times you realize there are things that we are just fixating ourselves to that doesn't really matter. For example, this work needs to be done by 30th. So what will you be doing? You'll be postponing until a day to 30th when you're now having that pressure to do it. Or for instance, in an organization setup, the supervisor says that they want something submitted by 30th again, and it's fast. Literally what will happen is that the people will make it a slow move as long as by 30th it's done.
It's done, yeah.
And you realize maybe that thing only takes 5 days to be completed. Now, you see, in a situation like this, you guys are focusing on the dates that you've been given, which is limiting what you guys are doing. And I've seen that in a lot of performance review, whereby your supervisor tells you, you know, you're capable of doing this. That is what you yourself, you know, you can do more than that. But since they have told you you're capable of doing this, you do that. When it comes to the performance review, there will be a checklist. It will be, yeah, you surpassed what you set for you. But if you were given that opportunity to set that for yourself, maybe the results they wanted is 20, but for you, you know you're capable of doing 50. You would have given yourself 50 or 80 so that it can push you to 50. But the limiting factor there, whereby the supervisor said you can do 20, you just focus on the 20 and that is it. And ideally, what that means is just getting ourselves out of comfortable zone. Because you realize these things we are capable of doing, we are capable of achieving, but we don't want to stretch our wings because we feel like we might fail, we feel like what will people say, and those are the limiting factors that are encompassed in a fixed mindset.
Okay. You've mentioned something about how many times we end up limiting ourselves and just doubting our capabilities, and even we end up negative self-talk. How do we deal with that when those things come? When you find yourself saying that you're not eloquent enough to speak in front of people, when you're not beautiful enough, when you don't have all those things that we tell ourselves, we talk to ourselves. How do we deal with that?
I'll use my example. The first time I was given an opportunity to stand in front of people and give an audience speech is when I was in high school. I think it was shy a month after we just joined, and they had called our parents. So when the class teacher decided to ask for volunteers, since we are all new, no one showed up. And they decided to look at the report and they picked the top 2. So I found myself in that mix. I went, prepared something, and I recall standing in front of people, I shivered. You know how we were writing in our composition, trickle of sweat, trickle down my face. It happened in real life. They applauded me, gave me a full script so that I can read the speech. I couldn't. I just froze. And I got out of that place saying, I'm not destined to stand in front of people.
Yeah.
I just can't. And funny enough, the next day, the deputy head teacher called me in front of the parade. Whatever he said, I won't mention it here, but it was very contrast to what had happened. So those who were in class, they were laughing, and the other school mates were wondering what was going on. But he had seen something in me, you know, and that's something I think
You held on to that.
Yes. How he affirmed just the strength and the courage to stand in front of people, even though I wasn't able to speak. That affirmation really meant a lot to me. And he decided to work with me, so he was mentoring me. Today, when I stand in front of people, it's different. You can't really realize that that's where I was coming from. So to answer your question, number one is just affirmation. I tend to speak back to the limiting beliefs. You know, you speak life into them. When you find yourself in a situation whereby you feel you can't, you tell yourself, yes, I can.
But in your case, you say that the principal pointed it out. Do you think if he had not done what he did in front of your fellow students, that something would have changed?
I know it would have influenced how I had been, because at that moment, I personally thought I was an introvert. So I was a cocoon, you know, I was a nerd. Books and just myself in a corner. It ignited something in me. And that is the beauty of having people who can support you and affirm you. So even as you walk with people who have growth mindset. Yeah, and I recall now the aspect of me speaking back, it also meant that there are things that you're putting effort to. Because from that moment when I was writing something, I'd go and practice it in front of a mirror. Remember how I said I used a mirror as an example? So I'd make the mirror to be my audience and I speak into it. It made me eloquent and also verbally ready for it. The other instances is just how he told me, when you're standing in front of a parade, instead of seeing people and maintaining eye contact, first of all, look at the placard, you know. So people would see that you're seeing them, but that is how you're building it. The other thing is just how you also ensure you look for the limiting things that are affecting you. If it's procrastinating, do you need to have time plan? And this time plan, you are sure that you're going to follow it to the latter. That's something I usually do. You'll realize for me, all my work plan, I give myself a deadline a week earlier. So I know this thing needs to be submitted by date X. For me, it's a week earlier. So I'll use that week to just amend something that I can see that is not ready, but it is already done, because I don't want to wait for the last minute. Things can happen, and you find yourself in a situation that it will be a bit mess. The other instance is just how you carry yourself. You know, when you're telling yourself you're not beautiful, one of the questions I ask my clients is, according to who?
Yes, according to who?
Yes, according to who? And if it's according to you, then that is an issue, you know. But it's good for them to know how to handle that, because, you know, it might be from a comment that was given, and or it might be from just your perception about what beauty is or who you really are. But you realize that doesn't really define you. I started by saying I thought I was an introvert, only to realize that the environment where you are and the season will now affect how you show up in terms of personality, and they're different. And the beauty thing about personalities is, like, even when you go and do the 16 personalities, it means your personality, the rate of your personality to be similar to another person is 1 out of 16. So it's very vast. But this self-belief and limiting beliefs that we give ourselves, it's just from within us and how we face them. Yeah.
Okay. How would you advise someone who is really feeling like they're stuck? They don't know their next step. They don't know how to move around and just move on and be intentional about the things, or rather the desires and the goals that they've set for themselves.
I'd use 2 phrases. Number 1 is to internalize and then externalize. So what I mean by internalize is take time to reflect. I usually call it my QT, quiet time. Just go to a place, reflect on your life. Where are you at? Where do you want to be? What are the situations? What are the realities of where you are currently? Once you internalize them, you realize that you will find a lot of things in your mind at that moment. Now, if they remain there, that is also an issue, because you might think and realize it's too much for you to handle, or it's overwhelming. So it goes back to the other thing I told you about now, externalizing. So how do you externalize it? It can be through a journal. You know, once you put it down on paper, it will come from a wrinkled scenario to a straight scenario that you can easily follow. The other thing is, with the journaling, it will make you ease. You know, there's that beauty in journaling on a paper, because the paper won't judge. So you say what you really want to say, whichever language you're using and how you're using it. The other way to externalize is you look for support. It can be in form of a person, a friend, someone whom you can feel it's a safe space when you want to share something. Or at a professional level, you can look for someone from the guiding profession. So maybe if there are things that are affecting you from your past and you're finding it hard to move on, look for a therapist or a counselor. If there are things that they're focusing on the present, look for somebody like a consultant or a trainer, because it can be something that after training you will be able to know how to go about it. And if it's something long lasting that you want from a present future, either look for a mentor or a coach to support you in that in a professional manner. But before you reach even there, we have a lot of support systems around us, the friends, the church where we go, the school, even the place where you are, as long as those people you feel safe to open up to. Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that everyone needs a life coach in their life?
That's a good question again. Now, for me, I believe everyone needs support system. Okay. It can be through a life coach or any other coach. It can be through a mentor and or just a friend to talk to, because there are things that you'll be able to solve with a life coach that you won't be able to solve with a mentor. I'll give you an example. For coaching aspect, you realize that when you say we evoke awareness, for you to get your fullest potential, it means that all the answers will come from you. Now, put that in a scenario and another scenario whereby you're trying to walk my footsteps. So because with a mentor, you're trying to live into another person's lived experience, what they did and how it worked for them, so you're following that. And I'll just pose that question to you again. Which one can you easily follow to the latter? The one whereby you're living somebody else's experience, or the one whereby you have an evokeness of awareness and it's coming from you?
And the second one.
Yeah. You see, so that's the beauty of it. But again, there's beauty in learning from other people's experiences, Don't wait for you to experience for you to learn. So there is a time for everything under the sun, and you realize that there are times whereby a coach will be beneficial, there are times whereby a mentor will be beneficial. And I've had instances whereby I was doing coaching and I had to refer some of my clients because I realized at that moment, coaching is not what they wanted. Or even when they came to me because they wanted something else, like advisory or mentorship, so that they can see how I lived my life experience and how it brought me there, you see. So the beauty with it is knowing what you want at that moment. And for me, how I usually do it, when I'm having that client assessment session, I reiterate and give them definitions of all the other guiding professions, so that they can be able to select the one that they are really need at that moment and season. Yeah.
Okay, I think just to mention, you are my life coach. Yeah, and there's so many things you're speaking about and I'm just relating. And it's really been wonderful, and I think I would advocate, if you're out there and you think you need a life coach, please go get one. And just a quick one, what is the difference between like a role model and a mentor? It's the same thing?
Now, there is some similarities, but a bit contrast kidogo, because when you're talking about a role model, this is someone you're looking up to. But you realize he or she might know you or not know you. But now for a mentor, for a mentor, you're looking up to, and he knows. He's walking that journey with you. So that is the difference. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, do you have a role model or a mentor? I have said my role model is Barack Obama or Michelle. Okay, moving on. In terms of, you are born again, right?
Yes.
As a Christian, how is this influencing, having a growth mentality? How does it come to play in your life?
It will take me back to the epistle wrote by Paul. That's the book of Romans chapter 12. The beauty about that chapter is because Paul is transitioning from a theory part of how to be a Christian to a practical part. Romans 12 literally talks about giving our bodies as living sacrifice and active love. And you realize that when you just go to that chapter 12 verse 1 and 2, it tells us that we should offer our bodies as living sacrifice, and we should not conform into the pattern of this world, but be transformed
by the renewal
of our minds. The aspect of transform by the renewal of our mind is very beautiful because when you are conforming, you find yourself comparing yourself, you find yourself trying to fit, and you find yourself taking chances with your values because you want to be seen. So it's a matter of how will people see me, or what will people say about me, but that is not really you. But the next aspect whereby it's saying, by transformation, you give an example of a butterfly. When it's a caterpillar, it looks ugly. Children won't want to play with it, and more so even if it gets into your skin, it's usually irritative, so people shy away from it. But the transition that it will take until the point it gets into a butterfly, it's more beautiful, colorful, and people want to play with it. That is how also our life is. So when we are being told that we need to transform by the renewal power, that renew, it means that it's already there. It's a matter of you getting new out of it. Now, it's telling us to renew our minds. And coincidentally, even the topic is mindset. It has the mind in it, So when it starts with our mind, it will enable us to take it positively and try to live with it. This can be an instance because when you just look at that chapter later on, from verse 8 to around 21, it talks about how to practice love with action. Don't fight evil for evil. When somebody asks for food, give that person food even if it's your enemy. So I can paraphrase Romans chapter 12 verse 10 and Philippians chapter 2 verse 3 and 4. So essentially it talks about how we need to be humble and overgive love, and also being humble and not just look at ourselves but also the people out there. And in terms of this growth mindset, you realize that once we get from that position of being selfish to selfless, it means that we'll appreciate a lot of things. For instance, we need people to grow. So it's not just a matter of what you think, because there are other perspectives out there. And that humility will also make it easier for you to ask for help when you need help, and just support to also know how you treat out people there. So I'd say that really emulates how we need to show how transformation has happened, and we've come from a place of this is just the theoretical living as Christians to the practical living.
Sure. Okay, as we wind up, I want you to advise someone who feels like they're stuck, they don't know the directions they want to take. So please advise them.
I'd go back to the questions you asked in the beginning, and I'd just let them know that, number one, you're not alone. Progress is better, way better than perfection. And as long as you get things going, you need to have that self-affirmation in yourself and giving yourself positive talk. Just speak life into you. You're better, you can do this, you're beautiful, there's nothing holding you back. And if you don't know, you're going to ask for support so that you know that.
Okay, thank you so much, Kasuti. It's been a wonderful session. Please share your parting shot as we close.
Thank you. It's also been a privilege to be here. And mine is just to let the audience know that when you're talking about mindset, it all starts with the mind, and the transformation has to come from within yourself. So from today's henceforth, before you give any limiting factor to yourself, ask yourself, according to who? And just speak life into you.
Thank you so much, guys, for staying until this point. Please remember, if you have any questions, leave them on the comment section, and remember to subscribe, share, and like. Until next time, see you.